18. Availability check and transfer of requirement. This section is about promise versus reality in SAP SD. Everything sales commits to a customer ultimately depends on availability and planning integration. If a sales representative confirms an order for 1,000 units but the warehouse only has 500, and the factory isn't planning to make more until next month, you have a disaster. If this area is weak, sales promises what cannot be delivered, leading to unconfirming orders later. Production is blindsided. They don't see the demand until it's too late. Procurement reacts too late. Raw materials aren't ordered in time. Customers lose trust. You said it would be here Tuesday. Senior SD consultants treat availability check, ATP, and transfer of requirements, TOR, as business credibility mechanisms, not just technical features. Availability check. Availability check answers one critical question, greater than can we deliver this quantity on this date? SAP does not guess. It checks against real, configured rules. It calculates backward from the requested delivery date to see if the timeline, picking, packing, loading, transit is feasible, and then checks if the stock exists. Availability check with a TP logic or against planning. SAP supports two broad approaches to answering do we have it. A TP, available to promise, logic. This is a check against real-time supply and demand elements. Checks against unrestricted stock. What is physically in the bin? Planned receipts. Purchase orders, production orders coming in. Planned issues. Other sales orders, deliveries going out. Safety stock. Do we dip into the emergency reserve? Used in trading, distribution, retail, and make-to-stock scenarios where inventory is the primary constraint. Against planning. This is a check against plan-independent requirements, PIRs. Checks against planned limits. Marketing said we can sell 100 units this month. If this order pushes us to 101, block it. Used in, make to order, assembly to order, or restricted allocation scenarios. Example. High-tech product launches. Choosing the wrong approach leads to greater than false confirmations, selling stock you don't have. Greater than missed deliveries. Refusing an order when production could have easily made it. Define checking groups. T-code, OVZ2. The checking group, MTVFP, is the strategy switch. It defines how we check availability and how we pass requirements. Controls, total records versus individual records. O1, daily requirements. Aggregates all orders for the day into one line in the database, VBBE. Faster performance, less detail. O2, individual requirements. Every order is a separate line. Required for proper backorder processing. Where defined, Material Master, MM03. Sales, General or Plant View. Checking group is the anchor for the entire ATP configuration. Define material block for other users. T-code, OVZ1. The problem, two users, John and Jane, both try to sell the last 10 iPhones at the exact same second. Both see 10 available. Both hit save. Who gets them? The solution, this setting blocks the material master and stock tables during the ATP check. If John is checking availability, Jane has to wait milliseconds until John is done. Used to, prevent double commitment, selling the same stock twice. Ensure data integrity in high-volume environments. Example. Ticket sales. Flash sales. Define checking group's default value. T-code, OVZ3. This is a fallback mechanism. Controls. If the material master field availability check is blank, what should be used? Mapped by material type and plant. Prevents user mistakes. Forgetting to set the checking group in the material master. Inconsistent behavior, ensuring all finished goods, FERT, behave the same way. Carry out control for availability check. T-code, OVZ9, the most critical screen. This is the scope of check. It combines the checking group from material and the checking rule, A equals SD order, B equals delivery, to define the math. Defines exactly what counts as stock, include safety stock. Yes or no include stock in transit. Yes or no include blocked stock. Usually number include purchase orders. Do we trust the vendor will deliver on time? Include production orders. Do we trust the factory? This is where business policy becomes system logic. Greater than we trust our internal factory. Include PRDORD. But we don't trust our external vendors. Exclude POs. Define procedure by requirements class. T-code, OVZG. This connects the sales world to the planning world. Controls availability, is a TP active? Transfer of requirements, TOR, is TOR active? Product allocation, is quota arrangement active? It links, greater than SD commitment, order. PP or MM planning, strategy. Define procedure for each schedule line category. T-code, VOV6. The schedule line category is where ATP actually executes. Controls, avail. Checkbox, to turn it on or off. Rec or assembly, checkbox, to turn on transfer of requirements. Movement type. Example. 601, determines how stock leaves. Wrong schedule line category equals ATP chaos. Example. Return schedule lines, DN, usually have ATP unchecked. We don't check availability for things coming in. Example. Third-party CS has ATP unchecked because we don't hold the stock. Determine procedure for each delivery item category. T-code, 0VLP. Controls. Check quantity 0. If availability is 0 during delivery creation, should we stop? Availability checkoff. You can turn off the check at the delivery level even if it was on in the order. Ensures. Last-minute stock validation. The order said yes 2 weeks ago. The delivery checks, do we still have it? Right before picking. Checking rule for updating back orders. T-code, VRA. Defines how the backorder processing, BOP, reports, like VV2 or advanced BOP in S or 4HANA, behave. It allows you to sort orders by priority and redistribute stock, stealing from a low-priority customer to give to a high-priority one. Used when supply is constrained. Golden customers must be protected. Define default settings. T-code, OVZ0. Controls, fixed date, and QTY. Should the system propose a fixed date by default? Rule for lead time. How to calculate replenishment lead time, RLT. Senior rule. Greater than users should not decide availability logic. These defaults prevent users from accidentally promising impossible dates. Transfer of requirement. Transfer of requirement. TOR ensures greater than sales demand is visible to planning, MRP, and procurement. If TOR is active, saving a sales order creates a record in the MD04 stock or requirements list. Without TOR, sales sells 1,000 units. Production sees 0 demand. Result: stock out. With TOR, sales sells 1,000 units. MRP runs. MRP generates a planned order for 1,000 units. Define requirements classes. T-code, OVZG. The requirements class is a detailed control key for demand management. Controls, consumption. Does this order consume forecast? PIR. Planning indicator, net requirements planning versus gross. Account assignment, for make-to-order cost collection. Each sales scenario, make-to-stock versus make-to-order, needs a different requirements class. Define requirements types. T-code, OVZH. The requirements type is the label that SD uses to find the requirements class. Examples: 041, order or delivery requirement, standard. 011, delivery requirement. KE, individual customer requirement, make to order. KEB, individual customer requirement with consumption. Determination of requirement types using transaction. T-code, OVZI. This is the linking logic. It determines which requirements type is assigned to the sales order item. Logic, item category plus MRP type, from Material Master. Requirements type. Example, item cat tan plus MRP type PD, rec type, 041, standard. Item cat tan plus MRP type ND, no planning. Rec type, no transfer. Misconfiguration causes greater than sales orders not visible in MRP. The order saves, but the factory never sees it. Maintain requirements for transfer of requirements. T-code, OVZ8. Defines requirement routines. ABAP logic. Example, routine 101 only transfer requirements if the item is not rejected. Example, routine 102 on. Transfer requirements if the credit check passed. Critical for credit blocked orders. You don't want to reserve stock or trigger production for a customer who might not pay. Routine 102 prevents TOR until the credit block is released. Block quantity confirmation in delivery blocks. T-code OVZ7. Controls. If a delivery block is applied, example. Political block or credit check. Should we keep the confirmed quantity? Scenario. Block confirmation. The order is blocked. The confirmed quantity is wiped out. Stock is freed up for other customers. Deblock confirmation. The order is blocked, but we hold the stock reservation. Used for credit blocks. Usually, you release the stock. Block confirmation equals yes, so you can sell it to a paying customer. Maintain requirements for purchase and assembly orders. T-code VOV6. Schedule line detail. Defines order type if this is a third-party process TAS. What purchase requisition type NB should be created. Item category. What PO item category S or L. Used in third-party sales bands. Where the sales order automatically triggers a purchase requisition. Assembly to order. Where the sales order triggers a production order. Real project scenarios. Scenario 1. Distribution business. Retail. ATP. Check against unrestricted stock only. TOR. Immediate. Strategy. First come first served. Scope. Include safety stock. No. Scenario 2. Manufacturing business. Automotive. ATP. Check against planning, PIRs, or replenishment lead time. TOR. Critical. Must consume forecast. Strategy. If stock is 0. Confirm date based on time to manufacture. Example. Today plus 5 days. Scenario 3. Priority customer. Pharma. Backorder processing. BOP. Run nightly. Logic. If stock is short, steal confirmed stock from Tier 2 customers and reassign to Tier 1 customers. Config. VRA backorder rules. Common real project failures. 1. ATP shows 0 despite stock. Scope of check, OVZ9, is excluding the storage location or stock type. 2. Sales orders not visible in MRP. Requirement type determination, OVZI, failed or schedule line TOR is off. 3. Over confirmation of stock. Checking rule includes PO, purchase orders. But the vendor is late. SAP promised the stock, assuming the PO would arrive. 4. Wrong delivery dates. Replenishment lead time is set to 0 in Material Master, so SAP promises today even if stock is 0. Production surprises. Rush orders entered without ATP checks, overwhelming the line. Root cause. Greater than poor understanding of checking groups, requirements, classes, and scope of check. How senior consultants approach this area. 1. Understand business promise model. Do you sell from stock or sell from plan? 2. Align SD, MM, PP. TOR is the handshake. The SD consultant must talk to the PP consultant. 3. Lock down ATP rules. Define the scope of check precisely with the business. 4. Restrict user overrides. Don't let users change the delivery date to today if ATP says next week. 5. Test under load. Ensure locking logic, OVZ1, works during high volume. Mental model to lock in. Availability check answers can we promise. The calculation. Transfer of requirement answers. Who must act to fulfill this promise? The signal. Both must work together. A promise without a signal is a lie. A signal without a promise is chaos. Say next when ready.